Hey, what's up, Liron here. In today's video, I want to share a few recent paintings I did and talk about the notable things I learned from them. Unfortunately, no live stream today because it's a holiday. I knew I wouldn't be able to. We will go back to the live stream routine next week. But in any case, let's take it to the table. I'm going to show you a few of the recent works. Hey, so I do want to thank you for sticking around with these videos that are a little more talkative. As I mentioned, I am trying to take a bit more time to create off camera. I feel like this is where my growth is. And the good news is I have some improvement to share with you. This one I really like, painted based on a parking lot where a friend of mine has recently moved. And I just love this kind of a scene with lots of different bits of pieces of cars and details where you can really take your time designing each and every one of them. You may recognize this one from the car painting I did, a bit of a larger version of. But in any case, the one thing I was worried about compositionally, talking about some of the fundamentals and basics, is this empty area here. So I made sure to charge it with a lot of interest when it comes to colors, you know, the yellows and reds and all of that, and also do these leading lines of perspective. So that kind of works itself out. Now, one of my favorite parts here, and it's something that I just recently learned how to better do, is this patch of grass here that really feels like it's hit by the sun. And you will see this in another painting I'll show you in just a few minutes. But yeah, really enjoy this one. The overall composition I love, where with all of these buildings in the background, very dark, kind of the backdrop for some of these cars that are more at the front. And you will notice that the more you go to the front, the more details the cars have. And the more you move back, you will have fewer details and a little more impressionistic. Luckily, people have mentioned they are able to actually recognize the cars, which is a fun little extra bonus. So I think I did a decent job with them. One thing I did very differently with this one is actually using masking fluid. Yep, I did use masking fluid for the highlights that you see here, on all of the cars. These are things that I just wanted to focus on the first wash in terms of the composition of the colors and not have to worry about painting around all of these highlights. So I did. I used some masking fluid. It was great. I had a good time, and I will probably continue doing it on the more complex pieces. One important thing I did to edit this scene, and hopefully I am showing you the reference as well, is merging these cars here that are in the shadow with the shadow. Okay, keeping them at distance. If I'd start spelling these out, it will create a weird irregularity with the shadow and the cars. I wanted to really push them back, which is why they're kind of merged together with the shadow. And I added a bit of, you see here, the opaque white paint, just to bring out some of the highlights on top of their, on their roofs. But overall, a composition I'm very happy with. Added some of the foliage here at the end, this fence. This car especially I'm very happy with because I was able to recreate that subtle blue on it, so very fun. This is actually a Nissan Juke, so a lot of people recognize it by this orange flare. It's a little hard to see here, it's orange and black, but yeah, this patch of grass, and again I will show you in just a moment in another one, this is something I really enjoy, and I will do more of. I'll utilize this kind of bright sap green for this purpose because I think it looks really good, and of course some punchy points with the reds that to make your eyes kind of move towards the focal point. Some of the colors are washed out, sorry. So unfortunately you can't see them as well. Now I will go over this one real quick before we get to the rest. So I did this and another one. Let me get it for a moment because I forgot that I want to show this one as well. So I basically recreated two scenes from the manga Berserk in watercolor, which was a great challenge. You have to understand this is based on a pen and ink sketch, and I had to translate the light and shadow into shapes of light and shadow. So that was really fun, especially pleased with this creepy guy's face here and the shadow here and how the red seeps into the blue. That was a really fun one to do. This one as well, as I showed you, this is the second one. This one has a more painterly feeling, so I'm more happy with that. I actually don't remember if I showed you this big illustration. I think I have, but now you get to see it more in detail. Kind of while we're at the more illustrative side of things, I will show you in just a moment a more impressionistic landscape. But this took a lot of effort, and the technique for the sky, I added them later. You can see by the gaps here. It was very demanding. I had to wet an area, put wet in wet, and continuously move the wash. Very challenging, you know, the part where you have to keep the paint wet and paint around very complex shapes is something I also find very challenging. So if you do as well, don't worry, it's just a part of it and you learn how to kind of work with it. Now I will show you this one. This is really nice, based on a picture I took. In a forest, we had a birthday and then a couple of cars were parked there. It was a really nice scene that I like. The approach I took here, and I have talked about it in one of the recent podcast episodes actually, was more direct. I put the shapes as I saw them immediately. So I put this shadow in one go. I put these trees in one go. I put the mountain ridge in one go. The only wash that's really overarching here is the sky and the ground. But after that, I just really planned it carefully and said, okay, this shape is like this, I'm going to paint it in one go. And add some wet and wet, yes. Paint this shape in one go. Paint this patch of grass in one go. This mountain ridge, for example, really, there's barely any technique involved when it comes to shapes next to one another. All I knew is this is the boundaries of the shape I'm painting, and then I painted it. On top of that, I have added a couple of details, so yes, it does look a little more, detailed and textured and whatnot. But again, very happy with the sap green here. It has a good sense of light and shadow. This rock turned out, I think, spectacular. I love it. Again, this is a quick one. You see, it's a rather small one too, compared, for example, to this illustration or the other cars. But yeah. It's just a fun scene that I was able to get in one go, and I feel like it has a freshness to it and it's good contrast. Especially, again, this patch of grass and the shadows under the cars that are behind some of the rocks here near the edge. It's just a really, really nice scene. Try not to overwork the trees, which is something that will happen from time to time. So yeah, this one, and the last one I wanted to share with you is this portrait I did yesterday, actually, of Geralt, was it 2 days ago? 2 days, yeah, Geralt of Rivia from the Witcher franchise. I played the video game, I didn't watch the show. Now, this one I really went with my inspiration at the moment. I felt really inspired to paint him, and I simply did. Now, I do want to direct your attention to one important thing, and that is, you see how, because of the strong sunlight, it actually brings out the brightness of the red of the flesh. And it is just pure red, either Pyrrole Scarlet, or the other one, Perylene Red. And by doing this close to where the light turns to dark, you can bring out a lot of beauty of the light kind of shining through the shape and through the skin, which is a beautiful, beautiful effect. So just something to have in mind. It's something I didn't do much of in the past, and I have applied it here. And this is my takeaway from this one mainly. So just a very fun portrait. I love the blue on the hair because it's gray and white. So yeah, portrait I'm very pleased with, very happy with how it turned out. Good balance overall. Let me know if you have any questions and I'll address them and let you know more about technique and so on. And this is it, pretty much. So thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this one, and a few housekeeping notes. As I mentioned, I will spend more time painting off camera, so I do want to spend more time showing you the paintings rather than, again, painting them by filming. Just something I owe myself for a while. I will go back. Obviously, there will be tutorials. I'm not stopping them at all. And definitely during the live streams, I want to do these demos. So just thank you for bearing with me as I go through these times where I feel like I need to create more on my own for myself, just to have it more authentic and more enjoyable for me, so that I can make this sustainable. Basically, I do feel like I need that time, and I'm really enjoying it. I feel like I'm really moving towards the next level every single day. So thank you so much. Don't forget to like, subscribe if you haven't. I will see you again in the next vid real soon.